Committee of Public Petitions on the petition by Messrs. Musa, Lema. Of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. 11th order of the day is consideration of report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Messrs. Musa, Lema, Innocent, Oduma, and 1,999 others against the Nigerian Immigration Service on alleged non-engagement after recruitment and training. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Tuesday, 3rd March 2016. Honorable Uzoma Nkem Abonta will move for its consideration. Honorable Abonta, please.
Move that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Mr. Musa, Lema, Innocent Odua, and 1,999 others against the Nigerian Immigration Service on alleged non-engagement after recruitment and training and approved recommendation therein. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
State. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Abonta. I so second.
Those against it say nay. The ayes have it. Leader.
Move that this House revert to the Committee of Whole for consideration of reports. I so move.
The motion has moved by the leader.
Those in support of the motion say aye. Those against it say nay. Ayes have it. House do resolve into Committee of the Whole.
Clause 18, Clause 19, Clause 20, Clause 21. Minority Leader, what is the 3? Clause 24, Clause 25.
Possibility of implementing certain directives. Like if you say that every operator should have an office in the community where the operator has significant operations. I'm asking, is it feasible? Clause 27.
Yes. So, Clause 28, Clause 29, Clause 30.
Error on that waiver that has not been included here.
I expected you to have gone straight to the clauses you seek to amend, but you just spoke generally. So can you now guide us? Refer specifically to those clauses you want amended, so that we can take
the Secretariat would want to crave the indulgence of the House that will step it down and correct it, because it's a very minor and simple amendment that we had, just a one-line amendment, and it should have reflected actually. But all we have here is retain without the actual clause that is being amended being pointed out for members to see. So I think the best thing to do at this junction is to step it down and then do the correction and bring it back. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We normally have a format for a presentation of this. And it's normally in 3 columns. So that the remark and the changes are indicated. And I hope when they don't correct, even if it is one line, the change should be reflected, and then everybody will see. And that's what caused this. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Because this is an issue of form over substance. If it's a one-liner, let him point out, like you rightly said, what you are trying to amend and what the amendment is, and we either agree or we disagree. Because you're talking about now weeks down the line. We don't know what can happen. There's a lot of bills on our table. And I think instead of sending it back, we've already spent almost 20 minutes on this. Why not just finish it once and for all and move on with it? Thank you.
Going to do to avoid wasting legislative time is to just bring that section, just that section, if you will grant me.
What?
No, I'm not with you right now. So that members can also have, yes. So Mr. Chairman, if you this format. So it's a complete omission of what it should be. So there is no need to try and cure it when it's incurable, as at this moment. I quite appreciate that, yes, we've wasted a lot of time on it, but this problem, as I've seen it, is near incurable at this moment. I said we'll go stand down and then go back to re-amend and bring it back. Mr. Chairman, I want to graciously ask that you grant the committee to bring this amendment on Thursday. And I therefore withdraw, step it down for today, and to be brought back again on Thursday for consideration. For now, till Thursday.
By the leave of the House.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, Lema Innocent and 1,999 others who were recruited and trained, and immigration. They've been trained in the use of arms, ammunition, and all the tactics, and been exposed to everything pertaining to immigration. And they were there for 3-4 months, and even posted with appointment letters. Suddenly, a twist came into the system where they were now relieved of their appointments. And this gentleman now petitioned that, having been trained in the use of gun and all whatnot, what do you expect them to do? This matter, I can also recall a high, powerful thing had been set up, which comprised of the leaders of the House as a then, and Musa recommended, having seen their predicaments, that they be absorbed into the system. And immigration came and said they need them very, very much, and they are wanted because the border is still porous. They still need them to perform the function. So that's why the committee sat and looked at it very thoroughly and deemed it fit to have these recommendations hearing. So move that they be considered and approved. I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Honorable Abonta. Yes, I'm coming. That's why I'm saying it. Yeah, don't worry yourself. The confusion will be cleared now. And before we revert to the committee of the whole, I specifically mentioned it to the leader of the House, that he has to speak on the difference between the committee he headed and this petition, so that there will be a clear difference, so that the public will not see us as sitting down to decide on the same issues and making different resolutions. So, leader of the House.
The committee that was set up by the House, myself, Honorable Shagari, and Honorable Leo Ogo, was to look specifically into the issue of those who were killed or who lost their lives during the immigration interview at the stadium. The then President Jonathan, had promised their families employment, and he had set up a committee, to execute that presidential fiat. And that was the issue, the only issue, narrow issue that we looked at. This is something completely different. These are people who had already been interviewed, trained in the use of firearms, given letters of employment. And those letters were posted, as a matter of fact. So they were already, there was an existing contract between government and these people. But for whatever reason, some kind of in-house, whether it was politics or I don't know, but they would know better because they investigated that. We did not investigate that. Those people have not been employed. In effect, their letters have been withdrawn. And I think that is what this petition was about. And that's the difference between the members of the family that by presidential fiat were supposed to have been employed and have not been employed. They haven't even been interviewed or given letters. We were just investigating the presidential fiat that was not executed. That's the difference.
Rightly said, I was, should I say, the secretary of that committee, because I was with my two leaders, majority and minority. And we listened to this case. But there is a nexus between what we listened to and this matter. Because the committee that was constituted, the presidential committee that was constituted to look into the matter of those people that lost their lives and make sure that they employ 3 per person that lost his life, and out of these 2, 1 should be a female. After that, they went ultra-virus, in my view, and then they started recruiting people from other, outside what they had been asked to do. And that is how they came about these 2,000 people. So the immigration service now said, no, you are only entitled to do what you have been asked to do. And you've gone outside your jurisdiction, so we will not. That is how they withdrew those letters. But I think what we said was that, as a committee, that they should consider these people that had been employed in the next exercise they were going to do, so that they are absorbed, because you cannot train someone, give him a letter, because it's no fault of theirs, that they were employed. So even though it is maybe from ab initio, maybe the letters were wrongly issued, but then they should be considered in the upcoming exercise of employment. I think that is just to shed more light on the issue. But we will see the I think it's better we see the recommendation of the committee, see if we can do 1 or 2 things with this. Thank you.
I am still confused, because here Nigerians lost their lives, okay? And a presidential committee was set up, and they were given directive. Instead of addressing those issues, they left it to go and employ 2,000 people. If that is it, unless that's not what it means. Well, they did that and they went ahead to do more. So the problem is impunity. It's too much. It's just too much. Because we are talking about lives, and some people are still doing things that will even create confusion. So, like he said, it's worrisome, it's crazy, it's unacceptable. But what do? Committee had done their job, and we are here to consider their recommendation. So when we go through the recommendation, then we know what it is and what actually to expect. But maybe as a leadership, you look at this immigration ministry, take a holistic review of what has happened between certain year till now, so that we'll get to the root of it. Because if not something drastic is not done, you will still see a lot of issues cropping up after this period. Because I know until this issue is addressed permanently, we're not going to get out of it. Because this is first time I'm hearing that. How can, for God's sake, you employ people, you train them, after once you give them employment letter, you posted them, and then you're calling them back, and you're treating the letters, and then you throw them back to the employment market. So that's where my confusion and worries is. Please, Mr. Chairman, I hope that you take this at another forum after we have listened to the recommendation and make sure that things are done rightly.
Basically requested that when we come to this point, that the leader should make a difference between what his own committee, investigated and what this committee is recommending now. And there are 2 clear things from what Honorable Shagari said. In his own opinion, he believes that there's an overlap between what they recommended earlier and what this committee is seeking to achieve. But what I will want us to do is to look at the recommendations of these reports and consider them one by one instead of, digging down. But in my opinion, there are 2 different things. Yes, the Immigration Service has done a very wrong thing, but if I could recollect that as a member of the Public Service Matters in the 7th Assembly, we even told them before that recruitment exercise that they should not go ahead, that it was wrong for an establishment to be collecting money from Nigerians who are seeking for employment. We call all of them, and yet they went ahead. So it's an issue for another day. Let us consider this, because of the fact that these people were duly recruited, trained, armed, posted, and we are talking about security implications. So when we look at the prayer, we see the one that can pass, we see the one that we have to amend, we see the one that are going to be due for further investigation. So we now go to recommendation. There are 3 recommendations. The first recommendation says to urge the House to direct Nigeria Immigration Service to re-engage these petitioners, numbering 2,000 into the service. Recommendation 2. Efforts will be made to ensure that federal character is reflected in the process of this recruitment.
Adequate budgetary provision should be made for a supplementary budget in 2016. It has to come by way of supplementary budget.
Engulfing the whole budget. Perhaps.
Those in support of recommendation 3 as amended, say aye. Those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Leader. Considered a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act 2010 and defer consideration of the bill. The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Messrs. Musa, Lema, Innocent, Oduma, and 1,999 others against the Nigeria Immigration Service on alleged non-engagement after recruiting and training, and approved recommendation 1, amended recommendations 2 and 3. Leader.
Move that the recommendation of the House be adopted. I so move.
Mr. Honorable Mohammed Tarmoguno, I hereby second the motion as moved by the leader for the recommendations to be adopted.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.